pharmaceutical. And Dr. Moye sir, he has given very wonderful, he talked about very wonderfully about me. Actually, I am here since last 3.5 years. I am very fortunate here that in front of you I am going to talk and discuss, not talk, it's a just discussion. We all of it share, maybe some point, maybe I will be wrong. Sir is here always to correct me for that. Today's topic for discussion is cardiovascular risk management. What are the challenges, and for that, what are the solutions? Just first we see what are the challenges in front of us. There is a changing epidemiology, and then early detection of the risk factors and control of these risk factors. These are the very important points. And what is the solution for this? Implementation of the guidelines is very difficult actually. In day-to-day practice, very few people are implementing our guidelines, whichever mentioned in whichever the guidelines, whether it is the European Society or ACC guidelines. And the other one is the polypill, is the magic remedy. First we go with the changing epidemiology, where we are at presently. From 1970 to now, where we are going. In 1970, here the basically non-communicable diseases, where it includes all other than infectious diseases, like 36%. You just see here the 36% disease is a non-communicable. Where in 2008, it reaches up to the 63%, and expected by 2030 is 76%. And out of that, major cause of death or morbidity or mortality is because of the cerebrovascular or cardiovascular disease. Is the same like is the vascular disease disorder. Now, causes of death in India. This data is actually published in 2008 from WHO, where the cardiovascular diseases is the most common cause of death. And here they have mentioned diabetes differently. Actually, we are now, say generally in our practice, we are saying the diabetes and cardiovascular disease are the same. Because all the diabetic person, you are supposed to give statin and aspirin for prevention purpose. Means these are the same, is only the other side of the same coin. Now, early detection of the risk factor for cardiovascular disorder. Which are the risk factors actually? Here are some of the modifiable risk factors we all know, and some of the unmodifiable risk factors. And what are the importance and why we have to look after these risk factors? What is the importance of this one? This is the InterHeart study, which is a very important study, where they found that myocardial infarction risk increases by 26 times when all 9 risk factors are added. These are the modifiable risk factors. Salim Yusuf conducted this study, and particularly, and he mentioned that there is a 26-fold rise in the risk of myocardial infarction if all 9 risk factors are present, which are most of the risk factors are modifiable. Now, coronary heart disease, there is a changing epidemiology, particularly in India, urbanization, which lead to stress, reduced physical activity, improved life expectancy, and the changing dietary pattern, which ultimately leads to the increase in the number of cases and early onset of the disease. The India is suffering from very early onset. In India, as compared to the Chinese as well as Japanese people, coronary artery disease is 10 to 20 years earlier than these people. Cardiometabolic syndrome is the most common cause of coronary artery disease as well as vascular disease. Here you see that one. Everywhere, whether it's a male or female, obesity is the most common. Other than the other risk factor, where the diabetes and obesity is the most common, means the cardiometabolic syndrome is most common cause of cardiovascular disease in India. Now, question arises, how to control these risk factors? Medicine is always there. We are all giving medicines for all this to prevent this risk factor or to control this factor. Everybody who knows that one, all these medicines have their importance, like statins, which reduces the risk factor of a cardiovascular as well as stroke by almost 30%. Aspirin, which reduces the coronary artery disease event by 25%. Hypertension reduces the event if you treat hypertension properly, like proper antihypertensive, it reduces the cardiovascular event by 23%. In total, they have conducted the study in the polypills and they found that the LDL cholesterol reduction led to a decrease in the ISD by 61%. Blood pressure control, if you control properly, like 11 millimeter diastolic control of blood pressure, 46% reduction is the ISD event. Like same for aspirin. And if you combine all these events, basically, then they found that the 88% is the reduction in the ISD event and 80% reduction in the stroke event. Multiple cardiovascular risk management result in the dramatic reduction in the cardiovascular disorder. With 10% reduction in blood pressure, along with 10% reduction in the total cholesterol, it's not like the 10% plus 10% is the 20%. Actually, the risk will reduce by almost 45%. That's why attention should be moved from knowing one's blood pressure and cholesterol concentration to knowing one's absolute cardiovascular risk and its determinants. This chart shows that here is the amlodipine along with this one is the placebo, and amlodipine with the, here they have included the atorvastatin. There is a 53% reduction in the cardiovascular event and the 31% reduction in the stroke events. The combined additive effect is much more if you added both the statin as well as the good antihypertensive agent. Now, what guidelines says for cardiovascular risk management? We all know that there are some guidelines for lipid lowering agents and cholesterol control. If individual with having LDL cholesterol more than 190, then high intensity statin therapy goal is to reduce the LDL by more than 50%. If his risk factor is moderate to low, then moderate intensity statin. They have mentioned the simvastatin, but you can use atorvastatin or rosuvastatin, any one therapy to reduce the target LDL level to 30 to 50%. Here circulation, these are the guidelines, ACC guidelines. Aspirin for primary prevention of the cardiovascular events. We all know that for primary prevention as well as for secondary prevention, aspirin reduces the event rate by almost by 25%. In stroke also they have mentioned where if the patient was unable to take anticoagulant, at least give aspirin up to the 325 milligram. Here in 2014, these are the new guidelines for non-ST-AMI patient. They have mentioned that risk reduction strategically for secondary prevention, you have to include antihypertensive, antiplatelet and statin. These are must for secondary prevention. What about the compliance? If you want to give all three drugs, it's very difficult to maintain the compliance and adherence of that medicine by the patient. These are the studies where it shows that 1/3 of the patient discontinue the treatment within 1 month. Means if you start with the 3 medications, you see that only the 12% use discontinue all the medications, 3.7% discontinue 2 medications, and 17% discontinue 1 medication. Means almost 33% they stop taking all medications. This is the pure study. Is conducted in India as well as in some Asian countries. Actually, it's the prospective urban and rural epidemiological study. And they have found that after 5 years of first cardiovascular or stroke event, they found that ARB or AC inhibitors, only 19.5% patient continued. And what about statin is only 14.6%, beta blockers in 17.4%, and antiplatelet only 25.3% are taking antiplatelet agent at the end of the 5 years. All these basically these figures are in the middle age, basically middle income population, and they found that the low income population, this figure is less than 3%. Here is one important study is conducted in Asian, India as well as in Europe, Empire study. Here they found that the person who is in on fixed dose combination therapy, like we can call it as the polypill, there is 77% compliance to polypill versus 23% in the usual care. There is a threefold increase in the compliance if patient is taking combined medications. You can call it as it's a polypill. The polypill means is not like that the multiple. I will call it as a, okay, 2-3 drugs. You can mix it. You can call it as a polypill also. This is a premier study where they found that those who are having basically here they have mentioned no medication to 3 medication, 0 medication to 3 medications, and the event rates, those who are stopped their medication having more event rates, like survival rate is less as compared to the person who is taking all medications. These are the recent studies which are published in the JSCC in the 2 months ago only. They found that those who are having a polypill have better compliance as compared to those who are having multiple drugs. The important actually fact about the blood pressures, about 50% do not have treatment change despite persistently elevated blood pressure. And despite multiple guidelines for this elevated systolic blood pressure until it is more than 150 millimeter of mercury, generally it was untreated. Only 60% of their systolic blood pressure values reduced to less than 140. In our routine practice, generally we also, if your pressure is around 140, 150, generally we people never used to chase that 140. Even in the diabetic person, even in more than 140, okay, you can carry on with that same medication. We generally would not go up to the 130, whichever the guidelines are mentioned. Is this poor adherence can essential cardiovascular risk factor? Is the most important question to us. Increasing pill burden decreases the adherence. In clinical trials, whichever the trials published, all trials showed that worse outcomes were attended when the adherence was lower, and patient needed to adhere their medication in order to effectively treat the cardiovascular risk factor. Non-adherence to the medication increases the cardiovascular risk. Means compliance and adherence is the most important part for actually risk factor reduction. That's why the recommendation came. Reducing the dosage demand is the most effective single approach towards enhancing adherence. And for that, fixed combinations therapy, polycap reduces the dosage demand. Can this polypill prevent the cardiovascular disease? Is an important question. That's why this idea came. Is it possible with a single drug we can reduce or to reduce the all event rate or reduces the risk factors? What it contains actually? Aspirin, ACE inhibitors, ARBs or any other anti like hydrochlorothiazide or other antihypertensive, atenolol and statin. Actually, they have maintained the bioavailability, and it shows that if you give singly or in the combination, generally it's equally safe. It's a one capsule which contains 3 antihypertensive, 1 lipid lowering drug, and 1 antiplatelet. There are multiple combinations actually. Who can benefit this from polypill? Patient with established cardiovascular disease, with or without hypertension, with or without dyslipidemia, patient with hypertension and dyslipidemia. Means there are large number of patients can benefit with this medication. What are the concerns for this polypill? Like one size can fit for all. With this polypill, there may be possibilities, some undertreated or other will be overtreated, because medical treatment is individualized. Each patient has different disease profile. Proper monitoring and tailoring of the treatment is essential. And it's a wrong message, quick fix with a magic bullet. Polypill treating a population is not a uniform individual. Like it's a coffee, you want to give the mixed coffee like ready-made, where it included the coffee, sugar and everything mixed, or we like to take that copy individually and you want to prepare at its own. Now the what study shows. These are the concerns and then ultimately the patient goes for the studies. And what study shows, particularly in the Indian polycap study, they found that with the polycap there is a better control of blood pressure, reduction in the LDL level, platelet aggregation, and they found that 85% patients completed the trial with this polycap. Compliance and adherence is better, particularly with this polycap formulation. Here they found that single means simvastatin versus polycap, and there is a same reduction in the LDL level as well as platelet aggregability if patient giving ASA alone or polycap. These are the polycap 2 study where they have studied, basically it's a TIPS-2 study where they have studied with the double dose of content versus low dose of all these medications, means half of the all adequate doses. What are the benefits of this polycap? Significant cardiovascular risk reduction, improve adherence and compliance, it reduces the side effects and cost saving, which is most important, particularly like poor socioeconomic countries. Cardiovascular risk management, what are the challenges and solutions? CHD and stroke are biggest killer. Hypertension and dyslipidemia are the major risk factor. This factor requires early recognition and effective control. New guidelines recommended polypill for effective control. Polycap is effective and well tolerated solution for changing epidemiology. Polycap is the Indian solution for this global population and what guidelines mentioned for polycap. Recent in 2013 European Society of Hypertension and Cardiology, they have mentioned that this fixed dose combination of several antihypertensive drugs with a statin and low dose of aspirin with the rationale that hypertensive patients often present with dyslipidemia and not infrequently have a high cardiovascular risk. Even European Society of Cardiology Cardiovascular Disease Prevention Guidelines by 2012, they have mentioned polycap individual without cardiovascular risk demonstrated that polycap formulation could conveniently reduces the multiple risk factors. These are the guidelines about the polycap. And recently in the August in SCC journal like JSCC, they have published polycap strategy to improve global secondary cardiovascular prevention from its concept from last decade to what now reality. These are the recent trials which are going on. TIPS-2 and HOPE-3 trials is going to complete within next 2-3 years, where maybe after these trials we may be found that in the ACC guideline and as well as the other guidelines, polycap combination for particularly for the prevention of cardiovascular diseases. What they have mentioned in ACC journal, polycap providing a comprehensive prescription of evidence-based cardioprotective drug. It's simplifying healthcare delivery, increasing medication adherence, and major trial provide definitive evidence on the efficacy of polycap in reducing the cardiovascular event in a cost-effective manner. But I would like to advocate of this polypill, add a user instruction particularly, because drug always not treat everything. Along with these drugs, there is always lifestyle modification that will play a very important role in reducing all these events. I will like to say these people at least add that along with this medication followed by at least 30-minute moderate to vigorous exercise, along with that low fat, low cholesterol diet, ideal weight management, as well as cessation of cigarette smoking or any all type of tobacco products. Because drug is always at one part. Other than that, lifestyle modification is always important for reduction of these all cardiovascular events. Thank you.